This is a podcast presented by the Ohio Laborers Union to keep you connected to your labor family. This is Down with the Dig.
Hi, I'm Shella. You know, it's easy to go through life and take it for granted until you get a terminal diagnosis. My guest today, Jacques Smith, is going to tell us his incredible story of how he went through something similar and how that changed his life forever. Hi, Jacques, and welcome to Down with the Dig.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
So, Jacques, you were just going along, same as you did every day, and then something happened. Let's talk about what happened.
Yes, sure. In like 2013 or so, I started experiencing different things that made me feel like something was definitely happening. I lived a life of working out, doing things daily, enjoying family, friends, fun. And I just started having different symptoms, whereas I started scratching a lot, very fatigued. I was losing weight unintentionally, though I was in the gym working out and things, but I was just losing a lot of weight. And I just started noticing things over the years, whereas my skin was getting yellow, my eyes were turning a yellowish tint. Soon for us to find out I was jaundiced. So after it got to the point where I needed to really, take control of some things and not running from any type of health scares. My son stopped me in my footsteps, in my tracks, and he says, "Dad, your eyes are yellow. They look like eggs." And, that really scared me into going to get a test. My wife and I, we had Googled and different things and saw that some things were leading to something with the liver. But me being a little hesitant on going to the hospital or going to a doctor, I did not go until my son really stopped me in my tracks again and told me, "Dad, I don't see my dad. I see only yellow in your eyes.
Right.
Something's wrong." So that's when
it is scary when you think about it and the thoughts of the possibility that you could have something that, maybe isn't curable. It is scary. And I can see kind of putting that off and not going to the doctor because you don't want to hear what they have to say.
Yes, exactly. I was very nervous about going because I knew something was wrong. Again, after Google searches and different things, I knew something was going on. And I think I definitely took for my son to stop me, to make me realize, let me get checked out. And I did. And I was diagnosed in 2016 with primary biliary cirrhosis of the liver. I made an appointment with the doctor. As soon as I went in, the doctor immediately said, "You're jaundiced." And I said, "Yes." I think that's what I looked up. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, stick your tongue out." And I stuck my tongue out, and she looked under my tongue, and it was completely yellow. It looked like a yellow highlighter under my tongue.
Her reaction had to be scary to you.
Oh, it really, when she walked in and she said, "Oh my goodness, you're jaundiced." It made me like, "Oh, wow. What does that mean? Really?" And so after seeing her reaction, so she quickly put me in for a liver. She wanted me to get a biopsy where they go in and take a piece of the liver to check it out. And so she scheduled me for a biopsy. I had my procedures and everything through Cleveland Clinic. She put me in for that, and it came back that I had 97.6% blockage in my biliary tract leading to my liver, and to the point where they were like, "How are you even standing?"
Oh, wow.
It was really, really bad. I had gotten down to 187, 180. I think the lowest I saw was 181. And I'm a relatively tall, big guy. So it was, the weight loss was very noticeable. I remember my late mother, she was even saying, "What's going on? You're losing so much weight." And so, I was diagnosed with primary biliary cirrhosis once everything came back, which is PBC for short. It's a progressive disease of the liver. It's caused by the buildup of bile within the liver, and that results in damage to the small bile ducts and that drain bile from the liver. So it was not properly flowing.
What was the next step once you got the biopsy back?
So they tried to put in stents. The doctor, they tried to do things to open up that the tract to let the bile, so everything could flow, the drain could flow. They tried to put stents in. That didn't work. I had a bag. I was using a bag for things, for any type of bowel or anything to drain. That didn't work. I would go back and, it just was not working properly. So eventually I was told I needed to have a liver transplant, and I was put on the donor list for a liver transplant because everything they tried just did not work.
So at that point, had they told you that, look, we've tried all these different ideas, nothing's working, this is going to be terminal unless you get a new liver? Is that?
Yeah. They said, if you do not have the liver transplant, pretty much you can start counting down, because nothing was working. I was still getting sick. Every time I went back, I was worse. It was not that I was improving. I was getting worse. It was just, they tried, some pressure was letting, I was getting some more release during that, with what they were doing, but it was not enough for them to say you're out of the dark. So
what was going through your mind at that moment when you knew you had to have that transplant?
I wouldn't see my family. I was scared, and I don't scare too easily, but I was very scared that I would not see my children, grow or go on, and my wife. I just started thinking about everything, my family. I didn't know what was next, and that was the first time in my life I did not see. I could not tell. I just didn't see any the next day. I didn't know what the next day would bring. I didn't know if I would be here or not.
Well, what about your family? What was their reaction? Because that had to be just like gut-wrenching to them also.
Yeah, I think my wife, she was right there with me all the way, still is. She helped me to, take that moment to let it sink in that this is, if I don't have this transplant, I could be out of here. She helped me really get myself together because I wanted to be strong for my children who had noticed, of course, my son, but my daughter as well. They had noticed something was going on. My father, my brother, my sister, my family all knew something was going on, my sister-in-law. So it was very hard, but I think my wife, because she prepared me to be able to talk about it and I give it to my doctor as well. They gave me a lot of information on it. Because
so you were well informed.
Yeah, well, they explained to me what it was, and that the pressure buildup, it destroys the bile ducts, leading to liver cell damage, and as the disease progresses enough and the liver cells die, cirrhosis occurs, and the liver failure can occur. And they explained to me about it, and they told me that the cause of PBC is not known. It's most likely an autoimmune disease where the body's immune system attacks its own cells. And in this disease, the bile ducts are under attack and are destroyed. So it was nothing from a familial, nothing. We had no one else in my family had anything with liver disease. It was just unknown why PBC. There still is no unknown factor as to why PBC happens. It's just an autoimmune disease. So
once you knew that nothing was working and you had to get the transplant, where did you turn to get help?
Well, I was put on the donor list through Lifebanc. Lifebanc was founded in 1986. It's a place here in Northeast Ohio where they cover about 20 counties, and they have about 1,600 people in their service area waiting for a kidney, mostly kidney transplants, but organ tissue and eye transplants. And I was on the list, and it was their job from there, once I was put on the list, to find a match and to find a donor to help me live. Now, I will share a little bit. My wife, I'm so thankful for, she was going to be my living donor, whereas she went through all the series of testing to be my living donor, where with the liver, you can donate a portion of the liver because it grows back, it regenerates. So my wife was actually going to do that. Yeah, my wife was going to do that. I'm very thankful for that. But I got so sick while she was prepared. I mean, she went through all the testing and everything, and she had to lose a little bit of weight, and then she could be my donor. But she was on that road. She had like 3-4 more pounds to lose or something like that for us to be able to have the procedure. But I had gotten so sick. In fact, I passed out at work and ended up in the ER, which put me way up on the donor list. And they found a donor.
So it was actually quicker for them to find you a donor than for your wife to be your living donor.
Yeah, well, really a living donor, if everything's okay and they can give, that's the quickest. And so that's why we were doing it, because I was getting worse by the day. So my wife, like I said, you have to there's some things you have to go through procedurally, procedure-wise to be a living donor. She had to just lose a little bit of weight in order to have the procedure. And so the quickest way, if you will, to have a transplant or that is to have a living donor, someone that matches you, particularly everything. I mean, she matched me so to the point my doctor's like, "Are you all related?" Everything down to the blood type and everything. But I got so sick that in my case, and I believe with other kidneys and things, with liver, if you go higher, you go on a MELD score. And my score went up higher. And the higher I went up on the transplant, on the score, I went higher on the transplant list. So they were more active in finding a donor for me. And so she no longer became my living donor. She became my caregiver.
So was that through through the doctor? The doctor contact Lifebanc, or did Lifebanc contact you when they found that donor?
Lifebanc, everything went through my doctor, through my the liver coordinator. Yes.
So when they found your donor, what was your reaction when you found out that there was somebody out there that had a liver for you?
Yeah. So if I backtrack a little bit, I went through 2 times. I had what they call a dry run, whereas I got a phone call saying that they found a match, and then I go in to be prepared for transplant. And for whatever reason, once it was time, they saw that the liver was not, it was not good. It was not going to be a good match for me. So I'm being prepared for transplant, and I'm told it's not going to happen. So that was a little devastating, but I'm so thankful for the process of being prepared for transplant, because it's not just you get on there. I had to go through a series of testing and psychological evaluations and things to make sure I was prepared to have my transplant, or even if not, if something was to happen. So I was prepared for if it did not go through. But I was sure that happened to me twice.
Oh, so is that normal? Is that a normal process, though?
It is. It's something that they don't like to happen, but they prepare you as a possible recipient that this could happen. So I was prepared for a dry run. It's just that you never, when you're in need, you don't think it's ever going to happen, because I was getting sick. The more and more when that happened, I was higher up on the score, but on the, to get the transplant, but I was not able to have it. So I continued to get even more sick while they were looking for a donor. That made them look even more aggressively for a match once they found that I went through it twice without one.
This is so important for our members to hear. That way they know if they feel sick or know something's wrong, that they go get that checkup, because, we've got the resources. Our organization does, we've got good benefits and good insurance and all that type of thing. So this is just such an important thing for them to hear.
I encourage anyone to go to the doctor. If you feel anything, I don't care if it's in your toe, you go, because really and truly, I was running from being healthy. And until my child stopped me in my tracks, and I got scared into becoming healthy and going to the doctor, that's when that's how I'm here. So I will share that I did finally get the call at 12:17 p.m. on March 1st, 2018. I'll never forget the time. I was in my office, very sick, door closed, windows shades down, because with my disease, you become very fatigued. So most of my staff, everyone knew that if I was in my office, doors closed, windows, everything shut, I needed some time. I'm very fortunate to work somewhere at a place where I'm able to, they understood, and they cared about me as much as I cared for myself. So I got the phone call on March 1st at 12:17 p.m. To get to Cleveland Clinic. They found a match. And of course, again, being that this was now my 3rd call, I was like, okay. And they were like, no, this is. Yeah,
you probably kind of thought, you didn't want to get your hopes up just in case it was another like the other 2 times.
I called my wife and I said, they found a match. And she was even like, okay, let's get there. Don't call your brother. Don't call your dad. Don't call anybody. Get there and let's go through everything. And once we know it's it's really going to happen. That's when we'll alert the kids, your brother, your dad, your sister, so because we kind of learned from the last two, don't tell everyone, because, even though my family has my back, it was just as much of a letdown for them.
Oh, right. They're excited that you're going to get this liver and then for you not to get it, that would be disappointing.
Because it affects not just me, your entire family, because they wanted to see me better and back again as well. So we learned from the last two times not to really share when it was time to share this third time. And, still being in there as we got there, because they said, get there as soon as you can. I got to Cleveland Clinic in 10 minutes. So I was admitted on March 1st, and I did not have my transplant until the next day, March 2nd.
And how long was that surgery?
I remember them saying that it was it typically is an 11-hour surgery, 10 to 11-hour surgery. They did mine in 8.5 hours.
Oh,
and,
gosh.
I did not need any blood transfusion. The thing that my doctor really said is, because I still was working out, even though I was going through all this other stuff, I was prepared for surgery because my body was prepared for surgery. I did not have any, diabetes or anything like that. My muscle mass was really good.
That's something that good for our members to hear also, is that if you do keep yourself in shape and you eat well, and it will only help you if you happen to, be diagnosed with something like you were, or any other type of illness. It pays to try to keep yourself as healthy as possible.
Yeah, that's how they said. I can recall going to my appointments and the doctor saying, wow, you outside of everything else, you're great. Your body's ready. Like, whenever we find this donor, when we have your donor, you're ready to go right in. I didn't have to do any. Some people have to prepare. They have to, get prepared, lose weight, have a negative testing on different things, diabetes and things. I was prepared for surgery because my body was prepared for surgery. So very true.
So when you finally found out this was it's going to happen today, how were you feeling? I'm sure you were scared.
So the feeling, once the nurse came back in and said, okay, this was on Friday morning. This is March 2nd. It was around 8 o'clock. She's like, okay, we'll be going in for, surgery around 1-ish. And so my wife was like, it's going to happen. They were like, oh yes, this is it. And that's when we start calling everyone. I said, call my brother. My brother's like always my first go-to. Call my brother, call my dad, call my sister, call the kids. Like, that's when we called everyone, like, it's going down. That's when the nurse came back in, and you could see in her face, like, yeah, we're prepping you now for transplant. And that's when, they immediately started putting things in, and, we're going to start putting the tubes and stuff. It was, yeah. So once they finally said it was, I was very happy, because again, I was very sick. Yes, so I was very happy. It just felt like a relief. I felt like I could breathe, even though I didn't know what to expect from transplant. I was happy to be able to, that it was finally going to happen. And I mean, my biggest thing was, I wanted to see my eyes again. I wanted to see the white in my eyes again, because again, my eyes were very yellow.
Back to normal a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to look like Jacques again.
I saw your Lifebanc video, and wow, that was so touching.
Jacques Smith, 46, of Cleveland Heights, passed away today from an aggressive form of liver disease. A devoted father, loving husband, son, brother, and advocate, Jacques was known for his never-ending laughter, love of life, and community. This was never printed because I received a liver transplant on March 2nd, 2018.
I do a lot for Lifebanc because they did so much for me. I can't thank them enough. And I said, if I see through this, I'm going to give back. So once I was able to, my family and we started participating in the walks that they have at Blossom Music Center. We started the Walk of Life events. I give back. I speak at different various events. You name it. I give back as much as I can.
Just the fact that in that video, in your reading, like your own obituary, was just so impactful.
Yeah, that was. It was several takes. The one that they captured, it was not a dry eye. I was really and truly and I told them I would be willing to do anything. I said, I would do this if it shows that it never happened. And they said, oh, it will show that it was never published. And that's how I said, okay, to doing that. And I'm so thankful. And they've gotten so many positive feedback from that. I know personal friends who have seen it and have become donors. So I'm very thankful for the work of Lifebanc and the fact that they are even including me to be a part of their story, because they really do hard work. And I'm alive because of someone's gift of life that was, found through Lifebanc.
And now, here you are, you feel healthy. I'm sure you're pretty much back to your usual activities. Yeah,
I got braces on Monday.
I noticed that. I noticed that. Yeah.
I feel great.
You're going to have a brand new smile and everything.
Brand new smile. I have a brand new smile, brand new walk, brand new attitude. I'm just, I did change some ways of living. I'm pescatarian now. I don't eat meat. Just because there were so many restrictions after transplant. Not to say that you couldn't eat meat or whatever. I just was like, what can I do I didn't want to go back here again. So they were like, change your eating habits and stuff. And I said, okay, there was just so many restrictions they were giving me. I said, I'll just wipe out the meat and stay with like fish and things like vegetables and fruits. And I've really, I feel great. I'm an advocate. I'm back in the gym. I do a lot of cardio. I don't lift as much as I did. I was bench pressing a lot beforehand, but I don't do that as much because I'm just self-conscious of my body is different. So I just train different now. So I feel really good. I'm very thankful for every day, every moment that I'm here. I'm very self-conscious about anything, that I am around, my surroundings. I just, surround myself with positivity.
That's great.
Anything in my life, I just make sure I stay positive because I don't need anything negative in my life. I've been there, done that. I'm trying to stay positive. I have my days, but I do have to take rejection meds every day. I take about 19 pills a day just to stay on track and, make sure that everything is okay. I break them up from 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. at night. So I have some restrictions in my life as far as when and what I can do. But I feel pretty good. I feel great. Every day I wake up, I'm thankful. And I know it's because of the gift of life. And I just,
Well, I know to look at you, you would never guess that you were somebody that had a liver transplant.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And I'm glad to hear that because my story is, it just happened, when the doctor said, because PBC is unknown, you were just one of the lucky ones, if you will, that right. That contracted the illness, and I'm thankful for it. I did go through the why me's and the woe me's and things like that when I first was diagnosed, but I'm thankful for it because it's helped me to build up this resiliency. I'm very passionate about things now. If I put my mind to it, I do it. I don't wait.
Well, it's
I go
such
to the doctor regularly.
It's such a great story, and and especially to see where you are now. So let's talk about your title and what you do at Tri-C.
Yes. So at Tri-C, I'm director of a mentoring program here at the college. I've been with Tri-C about 23 years. I started initially in their marketing department years ago, and I've just stayed. I'm a graduate of the college. Very thankful for everything I've been through educationally, and Tri-C is where I got my start. So I'm very thankful for that. And I've gone on to Cleveland State, University of Phoenix for my BA, Cleveland State, my MBA, University of Phoenix. But Tri-C is where everything started. And I told myself once I graduated, I would love to come back and work for the college. And I've been fortunate enough to do so. And now I'm able to touch students' lives daily by giving them a mentor, helping them out, make sure that they have the tools they need to succeed academically and personally. Here at the college. So,
our training center in Howard, Ohio, actually has a collaborative with Tri-C, and our apprenticeship applicants, or the people that take our apprenticeship classes, they actually can get college credits there through Tri-C. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's leadership courses, all kinds of team building things. There's manufacturing technical trainings. All kinds of different things. Yes, it's all through our workforce community and economic development division. So yes, we do a lot in the area of in your particular area. Yes, there's where you can get certificates degrees, trainings, most definitely.
And what I know I've been saying Tri-C. What is Tri-C?
Yes, Cuyahoga Community College.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, you know, Jacques, this was just such a great story. And, you know, I'm so happy for you and your family. Of course, you know, I work with your brother and,
yes. Love
you know,
that guy.
Yeah, he's such a good guy. And I see it runs in the family, and just so thankful to have you here and you're able to come on the show and talk about your illness and the importance of getting checked out.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm very glad to be here. And my brother means the world to me. Like my dad, like my brother was the first one that I called, you know, that got the call that I was going to have my transplant. He's been right there with me all my life. So I'm just very thankful for my brother. And, you know,
that's great.
Anything I can do. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you again. And, you know, we appreciate you being here, and hopefully we can have you back on the show.
Please, I would love that.
We're really grateful for what Lifebanc does, and we encourage our members to take care of themselves, see their doctors regularly. But we support Lifebanc and what they do. We would like for you to support Lifebanc. And if you would like to find out more information about them, we'll have a link in our show note, and hopefully you can go check them out. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Shella Rupa, and this is Down with the Dig.
Well, now you're up to date. Views and comments expressed on this podcast may not be those of Ohio Labor's District Council or LIUNA. Thanks for listening, and let's be careful out there.